Welcome to Zoe Stories. I dressed up for a dare. Now, my crush only likes me as a girl broken heart. I never meant for it to go this far. It started as a joke. One of those stupid dares your friends throw out when everyone's riding high on adrenaline and Red Bull. A harmless laugh, a quick gag for a few likes on social media. At least, that's what I thought when my best friend Tyler dared me to dress up as a girl for our school's Spring Spirit Week. "Come on, Nick," he said, laughing as he waved a pink floral dress in my face. "One day in heels won't kill you. Besides, you've got the legs for it." I rolled my eyes and smirked, the way guys do when they're trying to act like something doesn't bother them. Truth was, it did. Not the dare itself. I could handle embarrassment. What shook me was the way my stomach twisted, not from dread, but from something else. Something I couldn't name yet. I'm Nick Carson, 17, junior at Jefferson High. Average height, average build. Captain of the quiz bowl team, and tragically invisible to most of the student body, except for one person. Madison. Madison Green was the girl everyone noticed. The one with the confident walk and laugh that always seemed a little louder when I was nearby. She was charming, witty, effortlessly cool, and way out of my league. I'd spent most of the school year orbiting around her from a distance. We shared a few classes and the occasional group project, and once she'd borrowed my pen and returned it with a wink that nearly gave me a heart attack. That was the highlight of my semester. But a dare? A stupid dare could ruin everything. Or maybe not. When I finally accepted, I told myself it was just a bit. That I'd get a good laugh out of it. That Madison would laugh too, and maybe, just maybe, see me as more than the guy who always sat one row behind her in history class. Still, something deeper was brewing inside me. Something I didn't want to face. Dressing up wasn't completely foreign to me. I'd secretly tried on some of my cousin's clothes once when I was younger, alone and curious. I remembered the way the soft fabric hugged my skin, how I moved differently, how I felt seen even when no one was looking. That memory haunted me for years, and now it was threatening to return. Our story begins on a Wednesday afternoon, in the small but bustling town of Ashton Heights, a place where people knew each other's names and secrets didn't stay buried for long. My house sat at the edge of town, a modest two-story home with creaky floors and a bedroom window that looked out onto our empty cul-de-sac. It was quiet, isolated. The perfect place to hide. It was spring break, so my parents were out of town visiting my aunt, and I had the house to myself. The plan was simple: dress up, take a few pictures, post one to the group chat, and then change back.
Done.
Dare complete. I stood in front of my closet, staring at the pile of clothes Tyler had handed me earlier, complete with a blonde wig, a pair of size 10 heels he'd somehow found at a thrift store, and a soft pastel dress that looked way too short for comfort. My heart pounded in my chest. There was one person I hadn't told about the dare. Emma, my childhood friend, and the closest thing I had to a confidant. We'd grown up next door to each other, shared everything from Halloween candy to video games, and even survived our awkward middle school years together. Lately, though, things had shifted between us. Emma had grown quieter, more distant, especially when I started talking about Madison. Sometimes I caught her looking at me with this expression I couldn't read, like she was watching a storm form and wasn't sure if she should warn me or let me get soaked. If anyone would understand what I was about to do, or warn me not to, it was her. But I couldn't bring myself to tell her. Maybe because, deep down, I was afraid of how she'd react. Maybe because a part of me knew this was more than a joke. I wasn't a crossdresser, not officially. I didn't own any women's clothes. I didn't have a secret stash under my bed. But I'd thought about it. More times than I was willing to admit. It was something I buried beneath the layers of who I was supposed to be. I wasn't sure if it was just curiosity, or if it meant something more. All I knew was that when I picked up the dress and held it against my body, I didn't feel like I was pretending. I felt closer to something true. The mood was quiet, tense, like the hush before a big storm. Outside, the sun was starting to dip low, casting a golden glow through my blinds. The house felt still, too still. My breath echoed off the walls, loud and shaky. I stepped into the bathroom with the clothes in my arms and locked the door behind me. My reflection stared back at me, scared and uncertain, but excited. Would this be the day everything changed? Or the day I ruined everything? The bathroom lights flickered slightly as I stared at myself in the mirror. My palms were sweaty, and my fingers trembled as I reached for the soft pink fabric of the dress. I laughed nervously, trying to play it off as just nerves over a joke, but I wasn't fooling myself. This felt different. This felt big. I peeled off my t-shirt and jeans, folding them neatly on the sink counter. The dress was simple, sleeveless, and made of some light, silky material. When I stepped into it and slid it up my body, it clung gently to my skin. I caught my breath. It was snug in all the right places, smoothing against my frame as if it had been tailored just for me. I turned slightly, watching the way it moved when I did. It was surreal, like watching someone else, someone pretty. Someone I didn't recognize but wanted to know. Then came the heels. Tyler had joked about them being close enough, and he wasn't wrong. They were a tight fit, but I managed to squeeze into them and stand barely. Wobbling toward the mirror, I caught sight of my reflection again. Tall. Slender. Bare shoulders peeking out beneath the pastel straps of the dress. Hair still short and messy, face still mine but softer now, somehow. It wasn't a full transformation, not yet. But it was a start. I pulled out Emma's old makeup kit, the one she'd left at my place months ago when she crashed after a sleepover and never bothered to take back. She probably didn't even remember it was here. My hands shook as I opened the palette. I had no clue what I was doing, but I remembered watching her once, studying the way she dabbed at her eyelids, swiped mascara, smoothed out foundation. I mimicked her movements clumsily, wiping off my mistakes again and again. Eventually, I stood back and gasped. I looked beautiful, not like a model, not like Madison, but something in the shape of my eyes, the hint of color on my cheeks, the gloss on my lips. It all came together. My features softened, my expression shifted. I looked like me, but different, like a version of myself I never thought I'd see. And I liked it. I grabbed my phone. My fingers hovered over the camera button. I felt ridiculous, vulnerable, but also alive. One snap. Just one, I told myself. Click. I took another from a different angle. Then another. The more I posed, the more natural it felt. I found myself tilting my head, playing with expressions, shifting my hips just slightly like I'd seen girls do in photos. I couldn't stop. Then I heard it. A knock. I froze. The house was supposed to be empty. My parents were gone. Tyler was at work. Emma was at her art class. No one should be here. Another knock. Firmer this time. Then a voice. Nick, you home? I need to talk. Madison. My heart dropped into my stomach. I rushed out of the bathroom, heels clicking loudly on the wooden floor as I fumbled to turn off the lights. My legs nearly buckled as I darted down the hallway toward my room. Nick? Your door's open. I just came in. Hope that's okay. I slammed the door behind me, my breaths coming fast and shallow. I was trapped, still in full makeup, dress clinging to my body, heels on, wig in the drawer, and Madison was inside my house. She'd never just shown up before. Why now? Hello, she called out again. I brought the quiz notes. Thought you might need them. I looked around frantically. Nowhere to hide. I couldn't change fast enough. My jeans and shirt were still in the bathroom. If I moved now, she might see me. I was shaking, terrified. But even through the fear, part of me felt a strange thrill. Like I was walking a tightrope and couldn't afford to fall. I cracked open the door and peeked through the hallway. She was standing by the kitchen island, her backpack slung over one shoulder. She looked as effortless as ever. Ripped jeans, sneakers, hair tied back in a messy bun. Her eyes scanned the living room. Nick. I cleared my throat, voice barely above a whisper. 1 second. She turned toward the sound. Are you sick or something? I didn't respond. My mind raced. My voice. Could I even speak like this? I sounded too deep, to me. I looked around and spotted a hoodie hanging on my desk chair. I threw it over the dress, zipped it up quickly, and slipped out of the heels. I didn't have time to wipe off the makeup. Maybe she wouldn't notice. I opened the door slowly. Her eyes widened.
Wow.
You look, she tilted her head. Different. I laughed awkwardly. Yeah, I was, experimenting for Spirit Week. Tyler dared me. She smiled. You actually went through with it? Just messing around, I said quickly. She stepped closer, her eyes narrowing. Is that mascara? I shrugged, trying to act cool. Just trying to be thorough.
She didn't laugh.
She studied me for a second longer, then smiled, softly. You actually look kinda cute. My cheeks flushed. I looked away. Don't tell anyone. Who would believe me? She teased, reaching into her bag and pulling out a notebook. Anyway, here's the stuff for Quiz Bowl. You good? I nodded.
Yeah.
Just tired. She hesitated before leaving. Hey, if you ever want tips or something, like blending or picking shades, let me know. And then she was gone. I stood in silence long after the door clicked shut.
Cute.
She called me cute. Something cracked inside me. Something I couldn't push away anymore. This wasn't just a dare. Not anymore. For the first time in my life, someone saw that side of me and didn't run. Didn't laugh. She smiled. And a terrifying thought struck me. What if I liked being this version of me more than the version everyone else knew? The next day, everything changed. Tyler burst into my room after school, eyes wild with excitement.
Dude.
You're not gonna believe this. I scrambled to hide the wig, the makeup wipes, the heels, all of it, shoving everything under the bed as fast as I could. What? I asked, trying to sound normal. He pulled out his phone, swiped to a video, and shoved it in my face. A short clip played. Me, in full dress and heels, spinning in front of the mirror, laughing silently as I adjusted my hair. I felt the blood drain from my face. Where did you get this? He smirked. Let's just say you forgot to turn off your bedroom camera. I stared at him, stunned. You recorded me? He shrugged. Not on purpose. It was already synced to the cloud. I check it sometimes to see if you're doing anything weird, and holy hell, man. I didn't expect this. My legs gave out, and I sat down hard on the bed. Delete it.
Now.
He sat beside me, still grinning. Oh, I will. But you owe me. Owe you what? Tyler leaned in, his voice low. Emma's throwing a private girls-only party this weekend. I want you to go. What? As a girl. You're insane. He didn't flinch. You want me to keep this video private? Then you show up at that party in full glam. Full maid uniform. You do whatever they tell you for one night. That's it. You can even say it's part of the bet. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt tight. That's blackmail.
No, he said.
That's friendship. With conditions. The worst part? Emma's agreed to it. She messaged me later that night. Hey babe. Heard you're finally coming out of your shell, winking face. We've got the cutest maid outfit for you. Can't wait to see you serve clinking glasses. It was all happening too fast. A few days ago, I was a normal guy. Now I was being strong-armed into becoming some sort of sissy maid fantasy for a bunch of popular girls at a private party. And the strangest part? I didn't hate the idea. I hated being forced. I hated feeling out of control. But a part of me was curious, nervous, even a little excited. Because for the first time, I wouldn't be alone. I wouldn't be hiding in my room. I'd be seen. I stood outside Emma's house in the cold night air, my body trembling, not from temperature, but terror. The dress was short.
Black. Satin.
White frills along the hem. A little apron tied at the back. The fishnet stockings clung to my legs, and the black heels gave me just enough height to feel awkward and exposed. I wore a wig this time, long, silky brown strands that framed my face. Emma had helped me with the makeup herself, earlier that afternoon, under the pretense of making sure you don't embarrass me. She was surprisingly gentle. She told me what each brush did, laughed when I blinked too much during mascara, and even whispered, "You're prettier than you realize." Now I stood there, painted and polished and terrified. I rang the bell. The door opened, and the party erupted into laughter, clapping, cheers. There she is, Emma grinned, pulling me in like a prize. Girls I barely knew surrounded me. Cameras flashed. Someone handed me a tray of drinks and told me to act the part. They called me names, cute names. Princess. Baby girl. Matey. They laughed at how red my face got, how delicate my movements were, how natural I looked, and yet, none of it felt cruel. It felt like a game. A hazing. A strange rite of passage where the punishment was laced with pleasure. Emma pulled me aside after an hour. "You're doing amazing," she whispered, adjusting the lace on my collar. "You belong here more than half these girls." I blinked. "You're not mad." She looked at me gently. "Why would I be mad? I won the bet. You're mine." Her voice dropped, warm and seductive. "And I've never wanted you more." But not everyone was cheering. Madison arrived late, wearing ripped jeans and a disgusted look. She stared at me from across the room, wide-eyed, confused, and hurt. She cornered me in the kitchen. "What the hell is this?" It's a dare. A party thing. Just stupid fun." Her eyes narrowed. "You're lying." I didn't answer. She crossed her arms. "You didn't just throw on a wig for fun. You didn't learn makeup overnight. This," she gestured at me, at the maid dress, the heels. "This isn't a joke to you." I looked away. She whispered, "Is this who you are?" I swallowed hard. "I don't know. Maybe." She stared at me for a long moment, then said something that shattered me completely. "Emma's using you. You think she likes you like this? She dared you to do this. She's laughing behind your back." I shook my head. "You're wrong." Madison leaned in.
She's not who you think she is.
"But you're becoming someone else. And you deserve to know the truth." 10 minutes later, everything exploded. Emma got drunk. Tyler got cocky. Someone played the video of me dancing in my room on the TV, projected for everyone to see. The crowd roared with laughter. Emma clapped like it was all part of the show. But I was frozen. I looked at her. "You said you deleted it." Tyler shrugged. "I thought they'd enjoy it." Emma was grinning until she saw my face. Something in me snapped. I ripped off the maid headband, threw the tray on the floor, and stormed toward the door. "I trusted you," I hissed. "You liked it," Emma shot back. "You liked being my maid. Admit it." The room went quiet. "I did," I said. "But not like this. Not for you. Not as a joke." Madison appeared at my side, holding my coat. "Come on," she whispered. "You don't need them." Madison didn't say a word as she walked me home. I clutched my coat tight over the ridiculous maid dress, still wearing the heels. I hadn't had time to change. My wig was crooked. My mascara had smudged. And still, she didn't laugh. We reached my porch, and I stood there, unsure of what to say. "Thanks," I finally muttered, "for getting me out." She looked at me, really looked at me. "Is this who you want to be?" My throat tightened. I don't know. I didn't think it was. But when I was her maid, when they were calling me cute, pretty, when she said she wanted me, I paused, swallowing the knot in my chest. It felt real. I felt like I belonged. But tonight, it was like I woke up.
I wasn't a person to them.
I was a dare. Madison nodded slowly. "You were a secret until they could humiliate you. That's not the same as being accepted." A silence hung between us. Then she added softly, "But I accepted you, even before you accepted yourself." I looked at her. "Why?" She smiled. "Because I see you. Not the outfit. Not the wig. You're kind. Vulnerable.
Brave.
You've been living someone else's idea of you for too long." I felt the tears coming again. But this time, I didn't hold them back. Madison stepped closer and pulled me into a hug. "You don't have to decide tonight," she whispered. "But you don't have to hide anymore either." I didn't go back to Emma. She tried calling, texting cute memes, then demanding apologies, then insulting me when I didn't reply. Tyler went quiet too, probably embarrassed that his plan backfired. But I didn't care.
Something inside me had changed.
Madison helped me shop for my own clothes, not as a costume, but pieces that made me feel soft, confident, real. I started slow. A pink hoodie here. Fitted jeans. Subtle makeup I could wear without feeling like a joke. And then, one morning, I looked in the mirror and saw someone I liked. Not the perfect maid. Not Emma's doll.
Just me.
At school, the stares came. Whispers. Rumors. But I walked the halls in flats, a soft cardigan, and a touch of lip gloss. I didn't need to explain anything. Madison walked beside me, holding my hand.
Proud.
And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I was surviving someone else's dare. I was living my truth.